What's up? So, this installment of State 48 Weekly is going to discuss why my snake won't eat. I get asked that quite a bit, so I just felt like I would dive in and kind of, I don't know, give some tips or tricks that I kind of do and move on from there. So, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to get out Casper because, in my opinion, she's a great example of my snake won't eat. And I say that because, well, let me check on her first. Okay, she's not in shed. And everybody loves Casper. I love Casper. She's my favorite ball python. I'll say it. I have a favorite. This is her. She's the best. So why I say Casper is a great example of my snake won't eat. It's because she didn't eat for almost 7 months. She went off food. It was winter time, and she's clearly not ready to breed. I mean, she's as big as my hand still, but she's about 1,000 grams roughly, 850, 950, somewhere in there. I haven't weighed her in a while, but that was the last time I got a weight on her. That's what she was, and that was probably like 2 months ago. And she just kind of plateaued there. She held her weight. She was fasting. She wasn't eating. And because she held her weight, I wasn't really too concerned about it. Because in my opinion, and first, let me take this real quick. Everything I'm about to talk to is just my advice, is my own meandering experience of what I've encountered. And because of that, I don't really have 30 years in this area, but I have a decent idea because I spend a lot of time with my animals. And so I guess it would just be, she wasn't losing weight and she was off food. So in my head, I think, well, the snake is smart enough to know when it wants to eat. And I didn't, change anything drastic. And so I kind of just let her be. So my standard advice, and this is the generic advice that everybody gives everybody, I feel like, about when your snake won't eat, is make sure everything's right. And so by that, I mean, you got to make sure your humidity's there, you got to make sure the temperature is there, and you got to make sure that the snake feels comfortable. And you can vary a lot of things on that. You can adjust substrate. So, I did all the tricks for her. I adjusted substrate. I put her on paper. I put her off paper. I put her back on coconut husk. I put her on that, it's kind of like a carpet, like an indoor-outdoor carpet. And I varied her temperature in her cage. It was, the overall climate in this room was dropping because it was winter. And though I did have a space heater in here, there's still going to be a natural fluctuation, and that natural fluctuation is likely why she went off feed. Because typically ball pythons do go off feed in the wintertime because they're looking for their mate. So that's a big part of it. And what I found interesting is through doing all that, she still didn't really want to eat. However, the temperature's back up. It's hot now. It's probably 105 outside of this wall right here, and now that it's summertime, guess what? She ate again. She's eaten 4 times for me now, and that's wonderful. I'm not her, and I'm not going to push her to do what she doesn't want to do, and that's great, and that's why I love it. It's all about being patient. The animal, for the most part, knows what's best for the animal, and I feel like that's what she was doing. She was looking for her mate, or she was doing whatever she wanted to do, and she wasn't interested in food. And so I made sure the husbandry was there, and I made sure she wasn't losing drastic amount of weight, and I just let her do her. And here she is, healthy, happy, eating regularly now. Now one of my strongest feeders, I would say. She hasn't missed a meal since she went on food. She eats every 5 days, So here she is, and I would foresee that she'll be up to size by late next season because she's probably gonna gorge herself now, and that's what I love about it. So those are like the generic things, like just make sure your snake is healthy, basically. It doesn't have any, there's no mites or ticks or something in the substrate or something on the snake or some kind of stuck shed, keep the humidity where it should be. I purchased a humidifier. Now I'm going to humidify this room, and I'm going to keep the entire room at a certain level of humidity, and I think that's going to drastically increase yields across the board for the entire happiness of the snake family in here. But there's that. I've also heard, and I haven't tested this yet, the idea of stressing your snake, and it comes from some information I heard listening to the Bullshit podcast, and they always talk about on there about stressing your animal, and usually when that snake escapes that one time, you left your bin open and the snake was gone for overnight, and you find it the next day. Usually that snake will eat, and it's the stress factor, and it's not a bad stress. It's it was out, it cruised around all night, and now it's ready to eat. And so the idea is that you take your snake and you put it in a box or a bag, something confined and tight to where the snake is safe, and you put it in the car and you drive around with it, and it can stress the snake out just enough, and a lot of times they feed. And so what I do is I usually take the snake out, I soak him in the bath, I put him in the bathtub. Sometimes I put him just in the shower with the shower on, and I let him cruise around for 30-40 minutes, and I kind of let them do their thing. And oftentimes when I do that, they usually feed within the next couple days. And so that's another tactic you can take. But to me, full circle speaking is, so long as the snake is comfortable, the snake has maybe your snake needs a hide, do everything. Check all the boxes. Be so extensive that there's literally nothing left to do. And when you've hit that wall where there's nothing left that you can do, just give your snake some space. Let it be a snake. The ball pythons are notorious for going off feed. And I hate to say don't worry about it, because it could signify an issue, obviously. But if everything is checking out, the snake isn't losing weight, the snake isn't acting differently, the snake isn't ill, there isn't any visible signs of anything wrong with the animal, I think it's going to be all right. The snake knows more than you do, and that's my take. My take is the snake is smarter than me about what it is to be a snake. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. I feel like this is a meandering rant about really nothing, but I hope at some point it can help anybody out. And at worst, at least you got to see Casper. She is absolutely stunning. This snake is one of the whitest snakes I have seen in person. She's also the coolest ball python I've seen in person and had a chance to interact with. She just hangs out. She would be here the rest of the day, and I love that about her. It's so funny, and she's so strong. It's unreal. So, but yeah, here's Casper. A quick little update on her. She is doing great, feeding well, and hopefully she'll be a mother one day. And if not, that's okay, because she'll still stay here. But at any rate, hope everybody's having a good day, night, morning, whenever you're tuning in. Throw me a like, give me a comment, let me know what you guys think about all this. I realize it was, I don't know. Anytime you give an opinion on YouTube, you set yourself up for potential disaster, but here we go. There's that. But, all right, well, until next time, everybody, there's Casper, signing out.